Hi, this is me, Bellissimo. That is going to be the Shawn Sierra is coming back very shortly. We're going to be looking at some Bears running backs today. So I'm just going to put Shawn's details up on screen. I'm not sure if anyone's actually live in the chat yet, but there's Shawn, and we are
I'm
live.
back, baby. I'm back.
We are live. So just as it says at the bottom of the screen there, you can follow Shawn Sierra at the Shawn Sierra on Twitter, and you can also watch him on YouTube as well at Sportzone Shy. It's the Shawn and Maya show in the mornings, something I always catch. Great talk about all the Chicago sports, basically. Always entertaining. Some great guests go on there. It's always worth a catch, so I recommend that you do that as well. So we're going to go across some running backs. What's your sort of thoughts before we get into the tape, Shawn, as to what you've seen so far based upon, David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert, but also what you think potentially Trestan Ebner adds to the mix?
Well, I like all of them. I do think that Khalil Herbert and Trestan Ebner are better zone blocking runners to run. But David Montgomery is more of a downhill type running back, but he's very patient, so that helps. So you'll see him get better and better as the year goes on. Okay, but these guys, Khalil Herbert and Trestan Ebner, they ran this in college. All right, so Trestan Ebner is literally coming out of the same system, that the Bears are running. So he's good. I love his patience. I love his home run speed. I think once David Montgomery's going to be the workhorse. Just that's a given. But he's going to get better and better. But I think what they're also going to do is they're going to give those young bucks a lot of time. Because they're really good in the zone blocking scheme, and you want to take pressure off Montgomery. You want to keep you're basically a running back by committee, and I think they're going to be very, very, very productive, the running back room.
Yeah, I mean it's something that I think we're going to get into very shortly. But what I think we'll do is if we start taking a look at the tape, I think that's a good place as any. To start from, so we'll just jump straight into it, and I'm just going to add my share screen into there. Okay, and then bring it in. So this is it coming in now, Shawn. So as you can see, we're going to start off with Trestan Ebner. Mm-hmm. Look at some tape. But here, obviously, it says right in the middle of the screen there, we're up against TCU. Baylor's offensive line, not the best, I have to say.
No.
So I'm just going to run through some plays because these plays, I think, and this is not necessarily highlight tape type stuff, but it is all 22. And it's things that I think show skills that are transferable to what we're going to be running in Chicago. So I'll just let the play run. Obviously, I'll just highlight where he is actually on the screen because it's not obvious on this very first one. That's actually Trestan Ebner there in the slot. So I don't know if you can see that, Shawn, whether that's coming across well for you.
Oh, yeah.
There's Trestan Ebner in the slot, and basically we're going to see him obviously out on a route. Obviously, sort of read option type look. And then he's a slot man. So in terms of the actual tape itself, what does this tell us? Obviously, we've got two clear out routes kind of going down here, and we're shown from that man. And Trestan, obviously, what he's going to be looking at to know whether he's coming, because he's obviously running that out route, is who is going to be covering him. Is it going to be this guy here, or is it going to be the safety? Are we getting a blitzer off the edge? In which case, if there is a blitzer on the edge, how would you change your route there, do you think, Shawn, knowing that these are two clear outs? If you know this guy is coming,
if you know that guy's coming.
Yeah.
If you know that guy's coming, he's going to be most likely a hot route where you're going to turn and sit and look for the ball immediately as that dude's coming. So you're going to throw it out. So because you don't know what the top guy, what the slot, the two receivers, the outside guy most likely good, but you don't know what that second defender is going to do. So I don't know as far as heading out. I don't know if I do that. If that guy blitzes, I literally turn and look for the ball immediately, and there's enough space between you and the safety who's covering you to make a move, and you have him in space. So you really got to look at number two from the top, because if he sits and the safety covers number two, all right, then you're running right into that number. You see what I'm saying? You're running right into that number two defender. So, but he sees it. They're both going, and with a quick out, he gets it. And this is one of the things that's really great about him is that I imagine him and Velus Jones in the slot running the pick routes that they're going to like to use. That's going to be really, really nice.
I think Velus Jones and Trestan Ebner both offer something in terms of making it difficult for the defense to key when they're looking at the huddle as well. Because when you're looking at the huddle, yes, Trestan Ebner is a running back, but legitimately he can go out on routes like this. I mean, here we're seeing him in the slot, running a traditional, just a basic out route. But in terms of, his ability to do it, it's a nice, clean route. He's basically coming out where he should be. He's at his landmarks, in terms of what we're seeing. So I personally think, this sort of shows. And the ball, I don't know if you see this, but the ball is quite well behind him as well. Yeah. Not leading him. He's having to adjust to this ball. Again, a little bit sort of into the body with the catch here. So if we just sort of, we can zoom in a little bit so we can sort of show this catch point. So we'll just zoom in a little bit because he does kind of cradle it into the body a little bit. I want to see a hands catch if I'm being critical, but that is a hands catch, although it's tight to the body. I just want to see him put it out of the air a little bit more than we're currently seeing there. So that's my only criticism with that part there. But again, sort of stiff arm, being aware of where the first down marker is. No need to fight, every single player on every single down, but just be aware of you are on the field, know your landmarks, and get to your first down marker and, convert it. So there's that sort of mesh look with that sort of zone action that we're talking about on the outside as well, Shawn, which I think is going to be applicable for the Bears this year. I don't particularly like the way that the Baylor run their zone, but I think we're going to be running it a lot slightly differently, which I've already touched upon. But again, it's sort of, you can see his speed there. So we'll get into the second play and see what we see there. So this isn't a particularly good place to be, is it, as a running back, Shawn? I don't know if you want to talk about this as a running back.
Definitely not. This is tough. This is when you're lined up in the end zone, you're 6 yards deep in the end zone. Most likely it's going to be a run just because of the fact that you can't afford a holding, you can't afford a sack, strip, forced fumble, recovery, that type of thing. So it's most likely going to be a run, I would imagine, and you got to get out because you have to. The one thing you got to do is get the handoff. You can't be looking at the defense. You have to make sure. The ball. I got to make sure you get the handoff, and then you have to find your hold, and you got to get out of. You have to make sure you get out of where are they at, the 2-yard line. So
starting at the 2, but they have like an offset line as well. So your center's basically a half a yard further in field than the rest of the players are. But again, TCU as well a well coached and aggressive defense. As you see them penetrating that gap there, that backside backer, this kid does a good job with penetration. And again, this sort of shows you the standard of the offensive line that he's working with, Shawn. Because that's obviously a terrible grab. That's a massive hold there. Doesn't get called though. But what do you like about sort of what Trestan's doing on this in terms of patience and knowing when to cut? Bearing in mind he has this chaos in the backfield, which this shouldn't be there. That should be blocked up.
It should be. So the thing that you want here, it's a lot different, down in distance. Where are you at on the field? So your first thing is you need to gain yardage. He sees it. He sees the hole. He sees 55 clearing out that linebacker. He's going to plant his foot and get up in that hole. He can't worry about the stuff behind him. But he's going to, that's going. There's the hole right there. You're diagramming. There's the lane right there. He realizes that's the man he's going to have to beat the safety. If there's he may be able to see that guy coming behind him, and he may be able to beat him. With his speed, he should be able to beat him because that defender, that backside backer is blitzing. However, he sees the hole, boom, cuts it up in there, lowers his pads. So from the 2-yard line, I like
that he's not sprinting straight away. He's actually being sort of, despite the sort of the relative panic of being in your own backfield and knowing you've got to get out. I like that in terms of pace variation. He's not going full tilt there. He's waiting. He's being patient. Sees the gap, cuts back, and then he sees 66 at the center cutting across. So he actually squeezes down. Yeah, the defensive tackle makes contact. Yeah, exactly. He's even cutting back off that center who's washing across. And, if he can break that first tackle, like you say, going from the 2-yard line, getting out to the sort of 8, you've got to be happy with that, I think.
Big time. In
terms of effort on the play and patience, in terms of knowing when to cut back and also sort of getting skinny in that hole there, Shawn. and then pressing back upside and getting north and south and running behind his pads. So I personally enjoyed watching that play. I thought it shows you that he can run between the tackles as well for me. But let's see what you make of this.
That's huge in Chicago in November, December. You got to be able to run between the tackles and run behind your pads, get low, and it's not nothing finesse about Chicago football in November, December.
Yeah. So again, I'm sure you're familiar with these concepts here, Shawn, but so, I mean, obviously you can see the whole backside is not blocked at all there.
Mm-hmm.
But they run this play quite a lot, Baylor. So again, it doesn't particularly look a flashy run, but I'm sure you're seeing what I'm seeing here.
See, because of his speed, he can be very patient. Some guys who aren't as fast as him or explosive as him may have to pick up the pace a little bit, but because of his speed, he can be patient. As you see on this play right here that we're watching, because there's a guy got him in the backfield. However, he's patient. He puts his foot in the ground and explodes. Let's check it out. Here, he sees that linebacker
comes down.
He sees the linebacker, sets him up. He sets him up perfectly. See how he's going out? Boop, puts that foot in the ground because that linebacker can't get beat to that hole. He can't get beat to that hole. So with that jab step, he sets him up for that lineman. It was a 64 who comes across and cleans him up, puts his foot in the ground,
tackle,
gets north and south. Bam, right there, north and south.
And the cut is that cut, Shawn, there, and then putting his right toe in the floor at the same time, and then accelerating away from traffic, and then realizing he's getting contact from both sides. He knows it's coming. Watch him get skinny again. Get his hands with the ball, both hands over like a fullback, the old traditional fullback. That for a short run, I love again that he's patience, knowing that the backer is coming down, absolutely herring into that hole, and it's a nice wham. Yeah, it's a pretty good contact on the wham, but it's all set up by Trestan getting out in front of the blocker and being visible in this hole there. I mean, the backer's just smelling blood in the water at that point. I mean, he's a shark looking for food. So coming downhill at a rate of knots, and then he gets whammed, and that is a nice wham. But I love, again, that plant, that go step. Then you see him shift his hips around the blocker to sort of press this way.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously what we then see is the acceleration. But the awareness is what I like, because he sees these two guys coming in.
Well, he sees that guy, I don't know what number that is.
This guy.
Defensive end? No. To his right. That's why if you look at the defensive end, the defensive end who's straddling, he sees, and once you realize he has the ball, he gets him, and that's who he's avoiding at that particular point. He's like, okay, I got to get away from him. Oh, snap, here come two guys on my left and my right. Let me get upfield, cover the ball with two hands, and let me lower my pads to get what I can. Because every run's not, it's designed to take it to the house, but in all reality, every run is not going to get – not a house call. So you have to understand there's going to be contact, and when you make contact, you cover the ball, lower your pads, and explode through.
I love it. It's exactly what I saw when I was looking at it myself, Shawn. So I mean, I like that we're on the same page with that one. But I like that it's sort of showing the skills that he have, and I think this is very applicable to what the Bears want to run in terms of zone. I mean, this is special to me. This is rare traits, because that's a mess. I mean, that angle there in the backfield, again, if you want to talk this through, Shawn, should we just go from the backfield? Because I think it's probably easier to see.
Much easier.
What you're looking at as a back.
So as you're coming here, are you reading the play side guard or the nose guard? All right, the nose guard gets penetration. So you got to cut back off of him. You look at the linebacker. The linebacker's over pursuing the backside defensive tackle and is over pursuing. So you're going to have to cut back off of him. And then the defensive end on your left side is cutting, and your guy cuts him off. So you got to cut all the way back. And the best part about it is when you're cutting back, your momentum's going to your left. He gives him a little deke right there. Whoop. And that little deke with his foot right there freezes those two guys, the safety and the corner, and allows him to get upfield for a couple of more yards. Not a house call, but a couple of more yards. Save the little a little punishment on your body by freezing those two guys.
I think that's a special. I mean, again, this isn't a big run, but that for me, that cut back there, because this is FUBAR right here. That's no good to you. You know, this is where we're designed to go, and then cut back to whichever hole we see. You know, whether it's front side, whether it's back, or whether you're cutting back this side. But again, with cutbacks on this stretch zone, and we're going to see Khalil Herbert does this particularly well, Shawn. When this is blocking again, he sort of presses, but knows he's going to go almost straight up as this washes past, and that's what Trestan tries to do here. But this guy's got so much penetration, he has to stop dead. Okay, now I'm looking. Okay, I see that's there, but I also see,
backside tackle, backside end, they're both coming.
Two hats here, and this for me, this freeze there, and then go again, and then it's the acceleration, Shawn, off that second step. So he's got the first 1, 2, 3, go. And that acceleration, and then plant again to get north. And he's taken it into a backer who's already set and fitted up and planted, so he knows he's getting hit. That is a very, very tidy run for something which is not
show that. Can you run that back to the beginning again? Because I'll show you where. I'll show you where he makes a decision immediately.
This view, or
no, the end zone view. Okay. So if you watch what this guy doesn't do, here's what bothers me. Take it back to the beginning. All right, it's 63. Yeah, hold that. Yeah, the guard. So I understand that we're all on a 45-degree angle, a 45-degree track. All right. However, what he does is not. I'm not a big fan of this. We did it a little different when I was at Holy Cross. He goes up. He hits him. The lineman used to call it chip tray. Right? He chips him to the point where now the center can get him, and then he catches him he catches the next level, which is the linebacker. He doesn't chip the nose guard. He doesn't chip him. If he chips him, then that play can stay front side. And once the center gets to him, but he doesn't chip him. He just gives him an arm. That arm's not moving. That arm's not stopping a guy coming across, exploding across the line of scrimmage. So I don't like the way their blocking scheme is, or this particular play for the guard. Had he gone up, collided with that nose guard, giving the center a chance to get over, get his hips around, then traveled up to the backer. Okay,
this is exactly why
as well.
I've talked about this in terms of the offensive line players that we've signed and the way that San Diego, particularly Marcus Schofield 3, the way that San Diego played that interior. Just to explain, Shawn, for those that haven't watched previous ones, if you're zoning right, so let's just take the sort of this. If we're zoning right here, I don't know why it's not actually giving me this straight line, but never mind. Right, if we're going this way, okay, and then basically when you look at your linemen, you're kind of looking at almost like a T on every single one of them, down the middle and then across them, down the middle and across them. When you're zoning, you're basically saying, right, anything head up or this side, if we're zoning this way, is covered. So that's literally, that'd be like a one-hand punch block, and then you go. But anything which is this side of that line, technically you're uncovered, and you leave to guy that's this side of you. Now, the way that Coach Morgan ran it in certainly what he did in the Atlanta Falcons when he was the offensive line coach there, and also what he ran at Pittsburgh when he came in as the offensive line coach last year, is if this is the nearest threat and there is no threat immediately here, you hit this dude first because that's the first threat, then you get to your second level. He can then take over. If you hit him first, immediately off the line of scrimmage, it makes his center's job so much easier to get and take that combo on. If you do that, you can still get out. Again, you're going to kick out. I'm going to get a hat on him. He comes over. I'll go to second level. And again, just getting in front. If you run it that way, you make it so much easier. But again, it's just
see how
one hand on. And this is what the Bears did last year. It's what the Bears did last year, and it's why we had so much absolute chaos in the backfield. You can't do it. Whoever the nearest threat is, you've got to hit. As an offensive lineman, the nearest threat, if it's not blocked, you have to block it. That's your responsibility. Nearest threat to the ball carrier. Unless it's like a read option, and you're meant to leave him because that's the read guy. anyone else, nearest threat, you've got to take it. If it's there, you have to take it. One hand's doing nothing, and that's, the center's got absolutely killed there, but he was onto hiding to nothing because, the guy's already lined up in the gap. But that, again, that's stopping your feet, pushing outside, those 3 steps. You can see why he's such a good kick returner.
Yeah.
With moves like that.
He's able to make people miss in space. So it's a good read by him. So as a running back, you have to know where you're going to read. Who's your first read on it? On a zone, it's usually the first guy past the ball, because if whatever he does, you have to make your move off of him. Then you keep going back. So you saw in that particular play, the front side D lineman got penetration. He went to the backside D lineman. He got penetration. He went to the backside D and he got penetration. So we had to cut all the way back on that one, froze those 2 guys, and still got a good 5 or 6 yards on it.
Okay, so let's watch this one, see what we get here. So obviously, this is the play. And again, this is not going to end up on a highlight reel, Shawn. I like a speed back who runs like this, personally. Again, strictly speaking, this is sort of, I don't know, is it really inside zone or is it supposed to be outside and he just sees it straight away? Because this is the safety that actually makes the tackle here.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you talk about, strictly speaking, it looks like you've got to cut back to here because that's where the gap is. So you get the ball there, and at the moment, you would think, most, non-running backs would look at this and they think, okay, I need to cut back towards this sort of area. Well, you don't, because we know that the direction of travel is coming this way. So actually what I'm going to do is that, because by the time I get there, that's cleared.
Well, yeah, you got to press the hole. As you press the line will tell you where you're going to run. So you press the hole, you see 64 moving that guy. So you anticipate him, as you said, you anticipate him moving. So you could run literally right where 64 is. See, he starts in the middle of the C. He starts in the middle of the C and pulls it to the top, pushes him past the top of the C. And that's where the running back cuts right back to the top of the C. You see him plant his left foot right there. And he cuts up.
Yeah.
He was actually even with the guard. But he knew the guard was going to move that nose. It looks like plant.
Yes. Yeah. So he's one. So he's like a 3 tech, isn't he?
Oh, that's a 3 tech. That's
so
right.
Yeah. One there, 3 there.
One there. Yep.
And the center comes over to the 1, and he's technically not tight, but again, it's sort of working. That linebacker cuts back, but that's where you see that you've got hat on hat. Okay, so that's where I'm cutting because I know this is a clear lane for whoever's that pursuit. And
the reason you also want to press the hole on that, George, is back it up a little slower. I'll tell you when to stop. Right there. Stop. Okay, hold on. Again, keep going. Because what you want to do, you're reading the safety. You see what everything's going. You want to press. Pulls it right there. You see the safety. You want to push up into that hole. To the left of 63, right there. You want to push into that hole, okay, because you see 63 is going to push his guy by. You see 64 is going to push his guy by. And what you want to do is you want to get the safety up inside in that hole so then you can cut back and he's caught in the wash and you have nothing but green grass. But that's a great play by the safety to let everything develop in front of him as opposed to flying up in that hole. Because he flies up in that hole, Trestan Ebner, see if he stays there 63, there's nothing but Kentucky green bluegrass in front of them, and that's a good job by the safety. But that's why you stay in that hole. You press the hole on these zones and make that safety get up in there, cut behind them, and get them lost in the wash.
I agree with you because what you should press the hole and then sort of cut back to get him to fill. But I think the reason why the safety stays patient is because this guy is actually free and clear, so he knows that this hole is dealt with because this guy's going to come and fill. So he knows, okay, I can come this side.
Yeah.
And he's a very good safety. I think he's a junior this year. But he knows this hole is, the linebacker has that, so I'm going to come up here because I know he's a good back. He's going to cut back. If he goes there, linebacker's got him. If he comes here, I've got him. And again, it's the acceleration for me, Shawn. I'm just going to put it once through at this speed, at full speed, because the acceleration now. That's getting north and south in a hurry for me. From when he plants there to acceleration, go. And the safety gets a pretty good lick on him. And he absorbs the contact, goes to the side and gets an extra 1.5 yards. that's a pretty good tackle, I think, by the safety. But okay. So Gadget play, Shawn. There he is circled. Gadget play. We'll just let this. I mean, it's obvious what it is, but again, this is sort of a Nagy special, if you will. But this is the difference between a running back running it and a wide receiver running it, because Jamar Chase just keeps this going wider and wider and wider, whereas a running back, when he sees a gap, he's going to, get north and south. So there you can see him, gets the handoff, and there's the contact balance. So again, it's a gadget play, but what I like is obviously he is getting the handoff, so it's just a reverse pivot by the QB. There he comes, but it's what he sees, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 hats and only 2 blockers, so he knows I can outrun these 2 dudes.
Yep.
Because they're not coming uphill quick enough. Well, 3 dudes now, and then he sees this guy's got play side. So really, ideally.
He's running at the backside of 39. Is that 89, 39? He's running as a running back. You run right at his ass. You run right at his ass. Doesn't matter where it is, what he's doing, because you see him moving. If you do that, you're moving away from the 3 guys to your left, and you're gaining ground. And because the guy's already blocked. Yeah, he should have just gone. At that point, you should have dove into the end zone. But he got in anyway. That's fine.
Yeah, I think what he sees is 86 has got play side to the outside, so that's why he bounces it. So I think that's the reason why. This is not a particularly good block there, but this is a good block because he's sealing. And that's why he gets in, I think, ultimately. But again, that's that safety we just saw in that previous play as well, coming up and making a good effort. But again, it's contact balance, Shawn. If you can run through a safety who is a decent tackler and put the ball in the end zone, that's an important quality to have. So just a gadget play, but I thought it was interesting because it just shows that he's able to sort of use his speed as well as obviously his smarts. So scroll through this a little bit. Yeah, this is the actual. So again, I didn't get the start of this, but you can see what it is. I'll just run it through, Shawn, let you talk.
It's outside zone left. He's got 2 holes, and he's about to cut up the middle of the field, and then late. There was at the 3 technique. I didn't see the strength. Yeah. Yeah. He said, oh, you know what? There's too much traffic in there. And he gets the hole between the guard and tackle on the left side. He's about to cut up the middle and take it straight, gash him right up the middle. But he sees that guy right there and bounce it outside. And he gets to the left. As there's a good block by the tackle, even though the defensive end peels off. He's already got momentum. He's gaining. He's not going to take a full blow from the defensive end because he's falling toward trying to tackle him. So I do that 10 times out of 10, especially if the guy's bigger than me and I'm not going to get he's not going to deliver a solid blow to me. Good. I might be able to break the tackle and keep it going.
So the attention to this is basically it's supposed to be the same. You remember that play in the backfield where they pressed up against their own end zone? Sorry, the one before the end zone play where you get the guard that does that, and then you get like this wham, which is designed for a linebacker to come up. It's that same play. So obviously 3 tech is the guy we've got here, but the problem is you see the guard takes a step towards him, Shawn. He doesn't stay play side. And then the D tackle just rolls him straight away and then gets clear. And this guy's just looking for the backer. This tackle peeling. He's looking for the backer and it just crashes down.
So the tackle, on that one, he's got to come around and he's got to get the first thing. If it's that DN that 3 tech that gets through, then you seal that 3 tech and the running back's going to have to deal with the linebacker.
First thing you see here, you got to take.
You give that 3. You might not even have to stay with him. You give him a good shot in the ribs, and then get up to the backer. Trestan Ebner is going to have plenty of time, but once he sees that he's not delayed or slowed down, then he's got to keep going because this guy's got all the momentum in the world. Because Trestan Ebner, as we said, is very patient. He's a very patient runner, and you see that, and he's like, all right, I got a 280, 300-pound guy going full speed coming at me. I don't have the strength or the size to take a full hit on him when I'm really not moving.
What I like is here as well. He sees this linebacker peeking, Shawn. He stays in the hole until he can't stay there any longer, and it's to get this guy actually the wrong side, and he actually does this. He maneuvers him into the hole by staying patient, It's this guy that actually comes off and makes a tackle. But I like that he's looking. You see him turn his head straight towards that backer now. He's looking straight at him. And he knows he's pressing this hole because he wants that backer to fill because he knows he's going to bounce. So he's setting that run up. But again, it's are we saying too much or is this what he's actually doing? Well, I think it's very clear that's what he's doing because he sets up that move there. You see that acceleration, that jump cut there to push outside and the pace. The acceleration between that and then there, he's gone from 30 miles an hour to 60 in a hurry there. And again, makes that safety miss as well because he actually makes it there even though he's got a tackler.
This is why football is so important because if the guy who blew that play was the tackle. If that tackle stays inside shoulder, stays to the left shoulder of that defensive end, who's a 76, if he stays inside, swings his hips inside, all right, and he's not allowed to come back and make the play, guess what? The linebacker gets caught in the wash, like we talked about. He comes up here, stops on a dime as his safety's coming up to fill. As he goes through, safety comes up and he stops on a dime, leaves him, and now he'd be off to the races. One guy, that tackle, for allowing that defensive end to fall back. See how safety misses. If he misses him, guess you see it. Boom, there it is. He might have to step on that corner, but now he's off to the races.
That's a nice compliment to have there. Thank you, Sophisticated Thoughts. Always good to have you in the chat, mate. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you, sir. You are a scholar and a gentleman.
But I'm liking what I'm seeing so far from Trestan Ebner, Shawn. I'm not sure what your thoughts are.
I'm telling you, bro. I've been Verissimo. The day he was drafted, and I watched all these these clips that you're talking about. I'm like, this guy is the perfect guy for this system because this is what he ran in college. He's got home run speed, and he's extremely versatile. He's a much bigger and stronger Tariq Cohen. And I really, shout out to Tariq. I hope he's doing well. I hope he's able to rehab and be able to come back for the 23 season and someone picks him up. But he is a much more versatile, stronger Tariq Cohen. I love it. I'm telling you, wait till we go spread and you put him in one slot, Bayless Jones in the other slot, and have those crossing, those meshing routes, those pick routes in the middle of the field, 5 yards deep. And whoever comes open, Justin hits and try and catch those suckers running full speed.
Well, imagine. Let's just draw it up on this because we can probably do it on this. So the old go over and then mesh. So go on the outside, over, and then
mesh,
boom, and then wheel. So you got on this side you got like a levels and flood. You got a man beater here in the middle. Because you're going to get that mesh, that rub concept. And then if it's cover 3 or cover 1, you can't be everywhere. So if you can get like a second window, this could come open and go completely, if you got weapons. But I like this. I actually quite like this play, Shawn. So again, it's just a speed option.
Yep.
QB could pitch it later for me, if I'm honest. But the acceleration there, Shawn.
Yeah, and you can remember when you got a guy with that speed as a QB, I know your job is to draw the DN, but when once he commits and you got a guy with that type of home run speed, pitch it. He ain't catching him.
Yeah.
See, if 46, sorry, Papa, you ain't catching him. There's no way.
Yeah, it's too late there. I mean, he's already going. The linebacker is already going, but again, once he's got 3 yards on you, it's over. And then I like, again, he's coming up north and south. And again, freezing this guy. Just run straight at him, Shawn. Because then you're giving yourself room to the sideline. By running straight at him here, cutting up, run straight at him, give yourself room to the sideline. And you beat him for speed as well. And again, you talk about absorbing the contact. He gives him a firm shoulder to that side, Shawn. You see him give it that stiff left shoulder?
Oh, yeah.
There. Bounce off.
I would have liked 1 or 2 more steps at him. Because just one or two more here at him. Yeah, because once he goes, and because the guy behind him, he already beat. But once you go away, you give him, now he's trapped you into the sideline. There's really no way you can go. You take 1 or 2 more steps. You see to the right on the Big 12 logo, you got the tight end who's coming down. to the right. You got him. He's sealing exactly. He's sealing off. And again, every play's not going to the house, but with a guy like this, you kind of almost want to see him try and make those house calls, because it puts a lot of stress on the defense. If he takes 1-2 more steps at him and then cuts back and gives him a fake and cuts off that tight end, I think it is, he's got a whole bunch of grass to run to. But this I'll take. I'll take this because I love the physicality that he plays with, and he's going to need to at this level.
And this is just a straight outside zone. So I'm just going to let this run, let you sort of see what you see. It's a bit jumpy there. We're going to see a better angle, I think, here. Again, this is a smaller, lighter back, apparently, Shawn. Like they call him a third down gadget back. I don't see a third down gadget back at all. No.
So there you seal 88 defensive end. You seal the outside backer, and it looks like he seals. So you seal the nose. Or is that the one technique in the middle of the screen?
We'll draw up the techniques. So you do have a 3 down front here. So
you got a nose there.
We'll call it. Yeah. So we'll draw it up. So we've so nose. Obviously, that's a wide 5. Strictly speaking, it's a 7, isn't it? Really. But
yep.
tight end is outside. But obviously they're kind of running like a 36 front. 3-3.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I think they're actually in nickel. This is how they run nickel. But the end sort of crashes down immediately. It makes that job easier for that tackle.
Much easier.
Centre gets play side, which we like. And again, he's not getting much push, so it's a bit of a Sam Mustafa block. Guard gets on him. Does get some impetus. I like the job that the tackle does here, actually. 64 on the backside. Gets off that and he's going down towards the backer. But again, I like he's pressing wide, Shawn.
Yep. He's pressing wide and getting those big boys on the defensive line running. And he's creating the holes and he sees that hole, plants his foot in the ground, cuts in. He sees that hole there. But then that linebacker right there cuts back out.
Because he's actually he's seen a lane there, isn't he now?
Mm-hmm. And he also sees the guy to the right, and he sees also the guy in front of him is teetering toward his right. So he's like, let me go away from that. And then he just puts his shoulder down over on the safety. And he's like, if I'm going down, you're going to feel it.
So he makes contact at the 33, makes contact at the 33, and we're at the 36, 37, nearly 38. So almost 5 yards extra just by putting your head down. So again, you're talking about third down back. Is he really a third down back? I think he's an all 3 down player, and if you want a 4 down player because he gives you special teams as well. So we're going to Khalil Herbert now. As many of these as you want to go. So there's Khalil. Obviously, David Montgomery was out injured when this play happened. Again, this is why I don't want Sam Mustafa. Said it's a tough block for him, but again, if Whitehair gets more on that defensive tackle, the defensive tackle actually slants towards Mustafa as well. To be fair,
yeah, it helps him a lot. But yeah, he gets Mustafa.
I love the patience here by Khalil Herbert. So what are you seeing here from Khalil?
Let it run full speed one time for me. Yeah, he's weaving his way. He's finding a way where he can go. He sees, again, that block needs to be better. Whitehair has to give him a bigger blow, which will help Mustafa get control of that guy. See, he's okay, you got him and lets him go. It doesn't even barely hits him, gives him an arm, a wave. If you stop him, allow Mustafa to get up on him and swing his ass into the hole, well, the hole's then right there. He doesn't have to go outside any further. He would be able to plant and go up. So he sees that, no, I can't get in there, All right, let me get outside. And as he's scanning, he sees there's that lane. You see between Komet and 71, let's see who that is. Anyway, he sees the lane right there.
Peters.
He sees right there, and he's like, okay, cool. And again, he doesn't got to blow through it. He's got to let everything develop. All right, he falls back, no problem. I can break that tackle.
Yeah, I like that he's not afraid. He's not afraid of contact because he knows Komet's got half the man, so he knows he's only going to be hanging on for half. And then Jason Peters doing a good job sort of pushing him. But we get contact, at the 20? We get contact
right
at the 20.
The 20, yep. And he fights through it, gets to the 24, 25, maybe
29.
26. Oh, no, shit, he keeps going. You're right.
Yeah, we end up at the 29.
So that's, it's 8-9 yards of yak right there. This is what you're talking about. This is why this is why I like his patience and his lower extremity. He's got big thighs. All right. And so people have a tendency to bounce off him if you don't get a good shot and wrap on him. If you don't, he's going to run through arm tackles. He's going to run through half body tackles. No way.
Yeah,
yes, that's what I said. I said him and Trestan Ebner are perfect. As you saw, Trestan Ebner ran that in college. So yeah, he's pretty good at it.
There are a couple of plays which I'm going to show, which sort of showed the slight critique on Khalil's game, because sometimes he looks for the cutback a little bit too much. I'm just going to let it run through at full speed, Shawn, for you. I think that's actually a very underrated run, that. Because people look at that and they just think, oh, he's just cut back, that's easy. But for me, and again, I don't know what you think, Shawn, but you wouldn't, because
job number one,
he's going down.
Job number one here is secure the football. Job number two is get to the goal line. Doesn't matter how you get it, high, low, over someone, under someone, through someone. He sees it, boom. Because there's a wall right there. He could have kept bouncing, but you know what? Why? You see 70 coming across. He figures maybe he could squeeze in there.
Yeah, I mean, and that's basically what we end up with is cutting back. But again, this is James Daniels that everyone's crying about that we've got, and he's basically Kenny Clark there, one arms him, throws him, and if he's not being held, because it is a slight hold, Kenny Clark makes a tackle in the backfield there. But Wilkinson actually does a pretty good job there. Wilkinson, the tackle, washing him across. And again, I like he gets behind his pads. He's got confidence in those thighs, Shawn, to be able to drive people. He's confident that from 3 yards, one person or even two people are not going to stop me unless they get me square on. He knows they're coming from the side, so he's just backing himself behind his pads.
And here's the one thing. Go back a little. Notice how he doesn't attack with his pads. What he does, and this is a very slick trick that I learned a long time ago. Watch how he dips his pads so the safety kind of flies right over him. Watch dip that right shoulder dips and he flies right over his shoulder, doesn't get a square, and allows him to get into the end zone. That dip. So instead of going shoulder to shoulder, he drops his right shoulder a level. The safety's a level higher, can't get a good hit on him. The safety flies over him, which allows him to go right into the end zone underneath him. That's a phenomenal run by Khalil Herbert. Understanding sometimes you don't have to win with brute strength. You win with, football's, like Yogi Berra said, 90% mental. The other half is physical. All right. He's referring to baseball, but still, that slight little turn, dude, that happened. I did that in college one time and broke free for like a 50-yard touchdown. I was like, holy cow! It was me and it was in camp my freshman year. Our middle linebacker, second team All-American middle linebacker. I gave him we were going straight up. I was like, oh shit, here it is, freshman versus senior. He comes about to take my head off. I dip that shoulder. He goes right over me. And I was like, oh, okay. So I like the little nuances and tricks that he has as a running back.
Yeah, Shorty, you're gonna have to go back and watch the video from the start because Trestan Ebner has been impressive to us as well. I'm just gonna let it run, Shawn. Let it go through once, and then we'll go back and we'll talk about it. That is a hell of a run.
Yep. So read the play side. You read your 3 technique. All right. Whoop. Sorry, he's there. Backside comes back all the way back.
I mean, he makes 42 look absolutely stupid here. I mean, this is an NFL player. I mean, he will get ripped in the film room afterwards. I think we'll watch it from Neat because I mean, this is actually a pretty good angle to be fair. So we'll go through once at this, and then we'll look a little bit closer in context. Jason Peters really here on the backside. This is the importance of backside blocking, Shawn.
And the veteran's like, all right, boom. If you're gonna beat me there, my running back knows I'm gonna wash everything down. I'm gonna hit my man, your man,
exactly.
The officials in the middle. He's getting caught up in the wash as well, and let the running back do what he's gonna do. Make it easier for the running back when everything is washed down.
Yeah, so I mean, just to sort of, for the people that don't know, what you actually want to do is you want to be getting your head play side, so head play side, head play side, head play side. That's the way it's supposed to go, because you're supposed to be getting your running back to sort of press and then cut back when they see the hole. But if you can't get play side, like Shawn just said, you basically seal, because if you've got a good running back and you've sealed, the good running back is going to cut back off the back of it. And what do we see here? We see a good running back pressing the hole, which is designed. It's actually designed, I think, to go off tackle here. So I think it's actually designed for there.
Yeah, inside the tackle or tight end.
So off tackle, but again, that plant there, and Jason Peters washing down from that backside, and then 42 coming in here. Again, it's running to the landmark or running to where the player is, because you've got a safety coming this side. And he's trying to make the tackle, and he just gets made look absolutely stupid right there.
Well, that's a case of him not breaking down. Yeah, you're right. He wants the big hit. All right, you want the big hit, and he's going to get reamed in film session. Or he was reamed in film session. That I can guarantee you.
See, a lot of backs would just press up in there and just put their head down and try and push it forward, wouldn't they?
They would, but you see, the biggest thing that he sees was the fact that, if you leave it right there, like he's going to cut back to where Jason Peters is, because he knows Jason Peters is moving this guy big time. That flow, that momentum is going. He's already got him on skates. So he cuts back all the way pretty much right through where Jason Peters is right now. And now he's up into the second and third level.
And that's it. And then 42 coming into where he thinks he's going to be, because he sees him going. At the moment, obviously, Khalil Herbert's pushing straight upfield, but he sees him straight away. Plants, goes, just makes him look absolutely stupid. And then sees Darnell Mooney coming across. That guy's got his feet planted. Okay, I'm going to wash. I'm going to go outside him. The only thing is, Shawn, at this point now, I want to see him push a little bit further up so he can give himself the room to side with the pursuit. So for me, if you just plant and go up a little bit, even a couple of yards,
it's a lot tougher than you think, bro. It's a lot tougher.
I know, but I'm talking perfect.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, you want to plant and get upfield, but
because this is just drifting a little bit too much here for me. So once he gets to let's say that foot there, so once he gets to 20, you want to be sort of planting, kind of going up there to change, to alter this pursuit angle, because at the moment the pursuit angle is kind of there, and that's the pursuit angles you're getting. But if you come there, from going there, all of a sudden, this guy then has to go there, he has to go there, he has to go there, he has to go there, and you leave yourself, whoops.
Here, the only thing about that, Berlissimo, is that he doesn't have the breakaway speed of Trestan Ebner. So what he's doing, if he does that, he might get caught by the first guy or the second guy. By him widening and still going up to the left, he's running away from the first guy and the second guy, which he's running away to his left, but he's also gaining ground, and he's still going to gain probably more yards than as if he goes straight up, because then the contact point between that looks like the backer and the safety behind him is a lot closer. So he's running away to get up because he doesn't have that breakaway speed of Trestan Ebner. Trestan Ebner put that foot in the ground, and you just destroy those pursuit angles immediately. All right, this guy, Khalil Herbert, doesn't have that home run speed that Trestan Ebner has.
What's your appetite, Shawn, for Justin Fields to get in on the blocking here? I mean, it's nice to sort of see him, look and showing attention. I personally, exactly. Particularly throw shoulder side. Throw shoulder side, absolutely not. No, I want no part of him doing that. But again, good contact balance again at the end. I think he could have had, like I say, that's the thing. The one thing about Khalil Herbert you don't really have is the breakaway speed. So I've put this play in because, again, being critical, I think this is actually a bad cutback. I think if he just follows the hole here, he has more yards. So just to go back. So for me, that's the hole. And the reason why, because obviously we're pressing this way anyway, but it's just a cut back too many here because you've got Sam there. I know Kenny Clark's got a two-way going, and at the end of the day, Kenny Clark's probably going to make Cody Whitehair look bad either way he goes because he's got so much core strength and hip torque to be able to. He's basically pressing him head one side, and he knows he's got a two-way go. He can throw him this way and he can throw him that way.
Yeah, he can throw
because
him.
He has the strength. He has the strength to do it. But for me, that cutback, because again, backside is so far detached, Shawn, this backside, that a linebacker is always going to beat him for speed on the inside. But if you come here, I think you're giving yourself extra yards. I think this is just, if he just presses here and goes upfield, I think he gets more yards than stopping, which is what he does basically there, and then trying to cut back again. Because you see, Mustafa ends up with him because he hasn't pressed this hole.
Mm-hmm.
He's just looking to cut back straight away there. And that's the reason why he sort of runs into a backside tackle and also 59, the linebacker that he was trying to avoid. He actually runs into.
Either way, he would have gained a few more yards. If you look at, he would have gained a few more yards. I see your point. But here, if you just let it run, here comes 39 back into play. Here comes the safety, who only see the shadow at the bottom of the screen. He comes in. He comes into that thing. So he probably gains more yards, but it's 26. So if he stays right there, boom. See that everyone's collapsing. There's a triumvirate of 80. Is it 96, 39, and 26 are right in that alley.
Yeah. 59 is where Sam Mustafa is. I'm coming back this way because obviously Sam's this side of him. That's my only criticism is we've got 1, 2, 3 bodies this way, but you've got only one there really that's play side because that's where play side is. So that's my only criticism is I think at times he looks for a cutback when he doesn't need to look for a cutback. The hole is actually there. But yeah, I guess. So that for me was just a one cutback too many a little bit, really, for that.
It happens. It happens. I can't tell you how many times I was like,
not every play is perfect.
Yeah. It's just, and you just learn from it, as he continues to grow and to evolve as a running back in the NFL, he'll get better. His patience will be there and he'll see it.
I mean, this is crazy having Damir Bird run a wham block on a linebacker, Shawn. Damir Bird is about 5'9" and about 170, running a wham block against Rashawn Gary. But anyway, we're watching Khalil Herbert. Jason Peters again, Shawn. That backside block in the wide zone. That backside block, we're going to keep saying this, I feel. Backside block, if you don't wash down like that. And this is a great cutback. So I've just said he's did a bad cutback. This is a great cutback for me.
Yeah, he sees Peters got him. He waits, and now you and the safety.
And I think the safety concusses himself on his knee here. Yeah, he's out cold, that safety.
Yeah, he's just... You can tell by the way he's lying there.
You see his hands underneath him like that. That's a bad sign.
Yep. No movement, no nothing. Prone.
No, he's out cold. He's just he takes a right knee to his helmet right there. And that'll do you. But again, this for me is actually a very, very good cutback because again, Jason Peters on the backside washing down. And look how close to his ass he gets there just by going north-south.
I'm telling you, that is, as a running back, you almost want your hip wants to hit your lineman's ass as you're running by him, just kind of crazy. So you're literally there's no space. You talk about cutting off a block. Like what did Jay-Z, like a running back coming straight off the block? That's coming right off the block, and you took out their free safety with your knee.
Yeah.
Plays like that will really, really decimate a defense. And we got 3 guys who can do that, who can run this scheme. You can run it, like this, on a consistent basis, that takes the heart and soul out of a defense. You just don't like getting gashed up the middle of the field, all right, getting 7, 8, 10, 12 yards a pop. It demoralizes you and sucks your soul out.
Absolutely. So this is, again, I'm just going to let it run through, Shawn, let you talk about it. Gotta have it.
Yeah, bad throw. It's a tough throw, tough catch. But
it's an overload, isn't it? It's an overload blitz, and the center doesn't call it the right way because you've only got 2 bods here.
Yeah,
but it's an overload to that side, quite an obvious one. And in fact, I think Sam does call right, but James Daniels doesn't pick up the guy. I don't know why he's staying with Kenny Clark there. Why he doesn't pick up 9?
Yeah, he sees 9 in his face. Yeah.
You've got to get something on him. But anyway, he doesn't. And this is right because this is the check down because that's definitely not on and this is not on. Not with him right in the lane. So we've got to have this. We have to have this. And if he does, that's the guy that's got to come and make you tackle. And we've already seen him make people miss. And I'm sorry, there's no excuse for dropping that. That's a bad miss. And as you see from this angle, Shawn, if he catches this clean there,
he's got two-way go. That DB is in a big bind. Because all he's got to do is give him a hesitation fake in, freeze him, run by him, give him that stiff arm if he catches up. And now your first look is at the 45, the plus 45 with that safety who's going to come off, who's up at the 40. That safety who'd come off. No, the other guy, because he'll see, yeah, he would be the first guy he'd have to deal with after that point. And definitely moving to change after that. I mean,
we only have to get to here. So it's again, but that's showing a drop, but I'm going to show him catching the ball as well because this is actually, doing it the right way. So we'll let it go. For me, the answer to that question, Shawn, for you?
Trestan Ebner.
Yeah, I agree. And then David Montgomery and then Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, Khalil's not a bad receiver. He's just not very smooth. He's not smooth like Ebner. Montgomery's gotten much better. And he might catch more passes. But you know what? It doesn't matter how he gets the ball in his hands. Just get the ball in that dude's hands.
So to be fair to, obviously just slated Khalil Herbert for not catching the ball. He actually does a pretty good job here because obviously it's, it's not RPO, it's play action really. But he's one-on-one with a linebacker. Fields again second and long because there's the first down marker, there's the yardage marker. Ball goes out, so he's placing it out in front of him this time, not back inside him. It's a hands catch, Shawn. So I like the hands catch. Again, making the first guy miss. So if we had that previous one, this is the same linebacker that he would have had to deal with. Oh no, that's the guy that blitzed last time, isn't it? Number 9. Well, he makes him miss, makes a second guy miss. Well, he just kind of gets his legs at the end, but we get a first down out of it. So first down yardage. We'll settle for that. And again, it's sort of there's a play action. It's Jalen Smith, isn't it? That linebacker. Former Cowboys, former Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
And it again sort of breaks his ankles right there.
That was a hard. See that's a hard cut, and because he's chasing, he's in sprint mode. But the problem is with him, he's sprinting to a point. As running backs, you see, are they running at me or are they running to a collision point? Because if they run to a collision point, you can cut back off them, and they have no shot.
And to be fair, 41 just about hangs on, swinging around his race, but we get the first down out of that anyway. So again, nice catch, hands out in front, hands catch, which I like to see. Make sure you're securing the ball. Again, so we're just going to let it run. Motion goes across, you get a man with. I think he makes pretty much most of that yardage himself by pressing the hole, Shawn, because he presses up in here, and that's what gives him the bounce
big
right
time
there, and then cuts outside.
It freezes 39. See how 39 froze, and he froze to the point where that the commotion at the offensive line gets pushed back to him. It's 39, like, oh, right there.
Yeah,
sorry.
He's got to fill. He has to fill.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are Johnny on the spot, and to be fair, I'm not sure. Is this Tevin Jenkins? No, it's that's Alex Bars. That's Alex Bars. Yeah, 64. Yeah. So he's getting a pretty good block on the safety. But again, can we appreciate Darnell Mooney on this play?
That's a huge block on him because he takes out two guys. He takes out 26, 29, and 39 right there. Bam. Because 39 is not even looking until he's right in his face.
And it's the press. It's the extension. He's actually properly blocking him. You know, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, Shawn. It's the size of the fight in the dog. And Darnell Mooney's proof of that every single time he blocks. Gets under his man, gets extension, still on him. And that's lovely tiptoe down the sideline, this balance, Shawn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how many extra yards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 extra yards till he steps out of bounds there. Just tiptoeing up the sideline. So I think this is great because he presses into this hole here, makes him come up, then bounces outside. It's just real. Again, this happens so quick, Shawn. But
that dip also gets 29.
So well.
29 he's supposed to have outside contain. He's the last guy. He's supposed to have outside contain. But that dip in there gets him to come in as quickly as well. And he got caught. Now he bounces it out. That's a great move.
Darnell Seal. That's really well done, I've got to say.
Yeah.
It is a great block by Mooney. He's I like Mooney. I think he's a very good player, very underrated in the run game as well, Shawn. Darnell Mooney, in terms of his effort blocking. I think all running backs, when you've got a receiver who blocks like that for you downfield. So pass protection here, Shawn. What are the responsibilities, generally speaking, for pass pro from gun?
It depends. If you fan out, you got the inside linebacker. If you block down, everyone blocks down, you have the end man on the line of scrimmage. So let's see what they're doing if they fan out or if they're blocking man up. All right, they're fanning out, so he's got any linebacker who comes inside or any spillage inside. All right, he can see the twist happening. Nothing there. Oh, damn.
And this is Latavius Simmons, rookie tackle. This is the reason why. This is a rookie tackle in his very first game. So whilst I'm looking inside, once you see no backer is coming, you know you're one-on-one here. So rookie tackle. I just like, again, I'm being extremely nitpicky, Shawn, to be fair. If he just stays half a second longer and then turns back to help out the rookie tackle.
No, but that's Justin too. If Justin steps up.
He's got to press. He has to press.
And see, notice how. Here's another thing about Justin. See how Justin nonchalantly and casually steps back. Those steps got to be quick. Those got to be quick. Those got to be sharp. Those have to be precise.
He should just push up there. That's what he should do.
Just climb the pocket. Climb the pocket. If you can make the throw on the run, make it. Okay, and if not, take off. Look at everybody's backing up. The dude runs a 4.4.
But it's bad play by the tackle ultimately.
Oh, heck yeah.
And then nobody gets on the ball. But last one for Khalil Herbert, then we're on to Demo, who obviously that's a conversation to be had at the end of the season, do you think? I mean, I did put a poll in the chat if people want to answer that poll, because we are currently 50-50 on that poll. I can't believe it. 59% to say now. It was 50. Right. So
what poll do you have? I didn't see it.
So basically, should we extend David Montgomery at the earliest opportunity, or do we wait to the end of this season before talking about extension, or do we let him walk?
What do you think we should do, or what do you think the Bears are going to do? So I'll tell you what the Bears are going to do.
Oh, they're going to wait, but I mean, I think you should have a conversation with him now and say what kind of guaranteed money to sign early, and and if it's doable, if it's within your comfort range, and again, this is again a great cutback there. If it's doable, if it's within your comfort zone, and that's that contact balance to run through that tackle there. So I think you have a conversation, say, what is it you want? This is my problem with Sam. You can't leave him one-on-one with anybody. He just gets pushed into the backfield, just gets bullied. He just doesn't have the strength. He's got good movement. He's smart and all the rest of it, but you just can't leave him one-on-one because that happens.
All right, too often.
And that's the second string. That's not Vita Vea. That's some, third off the bench kind of guy. And again, Alex Barrs is right tackle on and Damakong Su washing him down. Alex Barrs, who didn't even get a look in, doing a good job again. That contact balance to run through those two tacklers there, Shawn, both linebackers. And then the safety does a good job, to be fair. That's Khalil Herbert. What I'll do is I'll just go in and end that poll. So we got 55% saying yes, sign him now, and 44% saying no, see what he does at the end of the season. So that's Khalil Herbert. Let's get on to David Montgomery. Less place to go on David Montgomery. Appreciate your time, Shawn, being on with me so long. Pretty good team, the Rams. Pretty good front, I think you would say. Pretty bad offensive line, I think you would say, for the Bears, especially with Jumana Fady, Jimmy Graham to play side. So there we go. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
That's what we're going to have to.
Looking from this side, Shawn.
Yeah, we're going to do this a lot. All right. It's a good cutback. It's a great cutback. This kid, Demo has done a phenomenal job of gaining speed every year. There's something that, great players always add to their game every year. It's always something. And Demo's added speed. We know he's able to make people miss. He's done that a lot in college. He's done that here in the NFL. Now I'd like to see him make a miss in the second and third level. He's had to make far too many people miss behind the line of scrimmage. With this, I think he'll be able to make people miss downfield. So he sees it, boom. At that point, he sees 68 James Daniels, and think I'm cutting off his ass. All the offensive line momentum is to the left. And he sees that the tackle that he's sealed, who's that? Chavius Simmons, right there. He sees it, and that's that cutback lane right there. Boom. Tell by the momentum of the guard, plants his foot, boom, gets up in there, and the DB don't want nothing. Is that Jalen Ramsey? No.
That's Ramsey.
So he cuts in. And the guy to his left or our right, 11. Dude, this guy doesn't want to tackle. He's standing there, and look at this guy.
If Demo goes this way, it makes this pursuit angle right. But that's the thing and again, this is nuance, Shawn. If you just go straight up there, these guys, that's their pursuit angle. Then he makes them right. Taylor Rapp over this side. That's Taylor Rapp. If he just goes up there, he makes that pursuit angle right. But he's got such awareness there for me. That pressing down, and this is good.
Well, not even about pursuit angles. About I want to run where there's nobody at. If he runs there, he sees his three people. If I cut back off of him, I'm outside, and everybody who's chasing me is to my left. I don't have to worry about anybody else, and that's what he does. All right, running back. You want to get to the point where you see all your defenders, and that's exactly what David Montgomery did on this play.
But I mean that's some good pace as well. That's all DBs chasing the running back. Excellent pace for that there. So let's see some more Demo. This is his second. That was his first rush of the season, by the way, Shawn. That was his first ball in the hand. That's his first play of the season. Not a bad start. This is his second rush of the season, Shawn. Again, your thoughts on this from the backfield. So I'll pause it where you want me to.
Okay.
So obviously there's a motion no one's going with. So in terms of safeties rolling over the top, no one's going with. I think this is supposed to be like
a full block.
Let's not try this kind of thing on Aaron Donald. It's not a good idea because he's a fast dude. But anyway, they do on Aaron Donald. So it becomes a wham. Yeah. I mean, it works because Donald actually does get the penetration. That's the reason why it works, because there's no way Holtz is getting in front of him.
And that's all you need for Demo to get there. Good.
Yeah.
He sees that safety coming in, but he also sees that linebacker falling to his left or the linebacker's right, and it looks like he cuts back off of him again. I would. And again,
I like he presses to keep the safety honest. I love the patience here, Shawn. That press, patience. Now I go outside. Now that he's wrong, I go outside and he sees all this space.
And he sees 74 coming too. But
yeah, 74 is like a walking speed.
No, number
74 is a walking speed.
Yeah, and then 54 has got there. So he's like, oh, I got to get down. And he does.
And that's just a fantastic run for me. Second run of the season, Shawn. Second time he's touched the ball. So same game.
Got 2 carries, 35, 40 yards, 2 carries?
about 62, I think it was. In total, I think the first one went like 53. And the second one, 9. So again, this looks like the same idea again, but this time Komet doesn't get the penetration by the DT. So Mustafa leaves him. It's supposed to be a wham, but this time Komet's out. He's not play side.
Yeah, he doesn't root him out. Is what he does. He goes and hits him. You're supposed to root him out. By that I mean you're supposed to hit that inside shoulder. So he's supposed to hit the right shoulder of the D lineman, and he hits him head on. He comes like face to face. You don't want that. You want to attack half the man, hit that shoulder, seal him, and allow that running lane for Demo to get through. Because the Demo, like all these running backs, they don't need a lot of time. They don't need a lot of space.
So I've circled this up, Shawn. If you're as a running back, you got this guy in the field with you. I mean, what does this mean to you?
It means I'm looking for him because I'm cutting off of him. When I see him running in, when I see him running from my left, I know I'm going to run. As soon as he crosses me, I'm bouncing to where he came from because he's picking somebody off. He's helping me out. As a running back, you have to understand that they're not running there to shake your hand. They're running there to pick somebody off. And when you see that guy, a wide receiver or tight end, anyone flanked out who's running across your face from your team, they're going to pick somebody off. Set it up by stay one more step, and once he's even or he's just about to get even with you, I'm talking your own man, you cut. He's through there. You see him coming. Boop. Never mind. I'm out.
Look at that effort by Darnell Mooney, though, Shawn.
Yep.
No wonder Darnell Mooney's celebrating at the end there, because you see him here he's celebrating. He knows he's just got extra yards for Demo, and look how happy he is about it. You ever see that from Allen Robinson? We'll let it go from the backfield anyway, so you can see it. Again, this sort of shows the vision, I think, Shawn, by David Montgomery to see Montgomery coming over. So again, in terms of what it is, it's leave this guy into the backfield, wham, play side is what it's supposed to be. But Komet doesn't get out. He's got to come that side.
Yep, right there. He's got to hit the 9 or his right shoulders where he's got to hit. And see, he's too far up. He's too far up. He needs to be further to the left. When I say root him out, I mean he's got to come at his back hip. Right there, right there. He's got to come right at that back hip. All right? Because if you just hit that back hip, listen, I don't give a damn how big you are, how strong you are, how much you bench, how much you squat, how much you hand clean. Somebody hits you in the hip and they move your hip, your body goes. So you get him a nice shot in the hip, you're off balance. It opens up. It's sealed. That'll seal that lane between Whitehair and Komet right there, the 5s, the 85 and the 65.
Yeah.
If he steals that, if he steals it, boom.
But look at Darnell Mooney coming in here as well.
Again, you see him coming in.
And that's Taylor Rapp. He's a physical safety, Shawn. And that jump cut there by Demo, right there. And just completely bouncing off that tackle. An extra 4 yards. I don't know how people can say he's not a top 5 back when he was running behind what was basically chaos. I don't know. And this is him catching Shawn. So let's just see what he's like with his hands. Just let it run through. The linebackers are sure in confusion there. Yeah, they don't know where they're going, do they, those linebackers?
Which way did he go? Which way did he go? Which way did he go?
Yeah, that's absolutely spot on. Yeah, Darnell Mooney is a number 1. Yeah, he's a skinny, strong fucker. Attitude is the biggest thing about blocking, Shawn. Whether you agree with me with that, but it's the vast majority of blocking is will.
It's all it is. Blocking desire. It's want to. That's all it is. I could teach a technique, but oftentimes you get a perfect technique where you get to get your hands underneath his shoulder pads and move. No, it's about desire. It's all blocking is desire.
I love that David is actually leaking out quite slowly here in terms of like giving himself time and space. He's not running 100% there, and it's just an easy check down.
You don't do that because one, you get to the sideline too quick, but also if you move fast, it gives those linebackers you see a blur, and it alerts the linebackers. They'll see if you're moving really, really fast, they're going to be able to get out there quickly, especially if the quarterback is looking downfield and you're a check down, which he is. You don't want that linebacker standing right next to you, or you don't want that linebacker having a beat on you, having a lock on you, and that ball's in the air. Now you're scared because now you got one eye on the ball, one eye on the backer. I remember those days.
What's your answer to that question, Shawn?
What would you rank the Bears running back room with the league? It's tough to say. Here's why. Trestan Ebner has not done anything in the NFL, so I can't, as much as I want to put him in there, he hasn't done, so I have no NFL film on him. Khalil Herbert didn't get as much time. If you want me to I can give you the 1-2 punch with those guys. I definitely think the 1-2 punch between Demo and Khalil Herbert, K-Herb, I think those two are top 10, maybe even top 5.
I would push top 5. And the reason why you can't say higher than top 5 is because they've been so misused as a pair up until this point.
Exactly. If you use them to the best of their ability, wow, they could be top 2 and not number 2.
but this is the thing for me, David Montgomery, Shawn. That move there to just completely throw 51 out of his shoes. But then this one here, isolating this dude.
Does it slice him? Does it cut between them? Whoop. Yeah.
Just presses towards him and then cuts back, and then
you got to give 51 some credit, because if 51 doesn't recover fast enough, he's going to come back and he's going to knock number 4 off, Jalen Ramsey, and Demo's going to go right through him. If he's not on his ass right there, okay, not Demo, David Montgomery. If he's not right there, he's going to run right into. You see, ready? Jalen Ramsey actually kind of hits him. So if 51 doesn't trail him with the speed that he did here, he's gonna pick off number 4, and Montgomery's gone. Because look at you're talking about Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney has him. Boom. Now imagine he gets through that squeeze. Now he's got to deal with 24. So good play by that linebacker to stay, even though he got beat, to have pursuit. Because if he doesn't have pursuit, he's picking off Jalen Ramsey, and David Montgomery is up further. I love this. I love the talent we have, and it's so unfortunate how
they were so misused. Yeah, preach. It's so there's Shawn's details at the bottom of the screen. If you don't already follow Shawn, you need to follow him on Twitter, and you also need to subscribe to the Sportzone Shy. Watch Shawn and I in the morning, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because they're absolutely fantastic. There you go. See. So again, something to be aware of is dictating what coverage you have, and what does this motion tell us? Okay, well, we've got David Montgomery actually here. So you've got a linebacker on him. So what does that tell you, Shawn? If you're a running back, you're out here, and you know you've got a linebacker who's trailed you out to the boundary pre-snap.
Oh, that's man.
Sorry, safety. It's a safety.
Oh, okay, it's a safety. Yeah, then it could still be zone. If that's a safety, it could be zone. But if it's a linebacker, then that'll be man. But
yes, so there you think it's man because he's gone to boundary, but it's the point where you cross these here that tells you it's zone.
yeah.
So if you watch when he comes past those, he stays outside, doesn't cross over.
Right.
Yeah, because otherwise you'd get an exchange. Like you'd get like an exchange here. So he would go to the outside, he'd go to the outside, and then he'd come to the inside. But once he crosses him, but this is again that motion, and it's like that sort of toss action there. So trying to make it look like toss behind that zone left. Look. And then you look at Marquise Goodwin here. So Marquise Goodwin's here. He's going to basically run like that route. And again, this is a clear out there. And then we've got David Montgomery here. All that space. I love the patience there as well. He's not an explosive back, apparently, Shawn. I've been told that David Montgomery is not an explosive back. I don't know what you think about this play, whether this sort of shows he's explosive or not. But
yeah, he's very subtle. His cuts are very, very sharp. His cuts are very, very, very sharp. And a lot of running backs don't know how to cut. And he's one of them who does.
So there's a toss motion, and then Holtz is out in front as a personal protector. And then you get everyone saying, oh, shit, we need to get over here. You see one coming over there, one going up there to clear out this space. And then there's Demo. You see how patient he is, how slow he's running. He knows he's getting the ball here. That's the design. And all that basically Dalton is reading is that. Because he knows if he's got that in man, he's got a massive void out here.
If you look at what David Montgomery does, if you roll that back a little bit, he doesn't turn back at all. A lot of times once he gets right there, he's looking back. If he's looking back for the ball, that's going to alert the linebackers that he might be him, that he might be getting the ball. But when he goes very nonchalantly, just kind of stops and he eases, doesn't even look back for the ball, a linebacker realizes, because a lot of people give up, they'll take a play off. And there he looks like he's taking a play off, but all of a sudden that he keeps drifting. Boom, at the end, he turns around and the linebacker's far. So now he's got a lot of space to cover. That's at the safety, a lot of space to cover, and you got a guy who loves making people miss.
Yeah, I mean, this really, if you're David Montgomery, put yourself in David Montgomery's position, Shawn. If you've just caught the ball, that's where the first down marker is, and you see that's the only guy you've got to make miss. What are you thinking to yourself? That's a linebacker. It's a linebacker.
You got to use his momentum against him because he's got no chance. So he's coming from your right to your left. So you got to deke to your left just like that and keep his momentum going that way. And cut back is called cutting back to the soft shoulder. All right, you cut back to the soft shoulder because if a guy can bring you down with one arm, you don't need to be carrying the ball. So he cuts back to the soft shoulder, gets by him, and it gets the first down and then some. Gives him that little deke, that hard plant.
It is the part of you, Shawn, when you're in that position, you're confident in your abilities. You're thinking, "Oh, this is money. This is money right here. Yeah. I've got this guy. This guy isn't even going to get close to me." And then you have the patience just to wait for him to close the gap because you've got the beating of him. So you wait for him to close the gap, and then you do that to him. You just make him look all kinds of just ridiculously bad. I mean, letting him get that close.
One thing he does is he goes right upfield. He doesn't get close to the numbers. See how he's planting that right foot now? Boom, he's right there. And then he gets straight upfield. He's going north and south. He's not going toward the numbers anymore. He's going north and south. You see how he does that? Because that makes that angle. Who's that guy chasing him? 50? If he's drifting 57. Toward the numbers, that 50, 55, whoever it is, 55.
Oh yeah, 55. Yeah,
he tackles him at that particular point if he keeps drifting. He gets upfield. Remember we talked about that cutting it upfield before with Ebner.
Change the pursuit angle.
He gets upfield, straight upfield, north south, and what he does, he gets to that point and he uses the block downfield as a screen to get 6-8 more yards.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really good job, I think, personally. But
it's a phenomenal job of using the field, using the defenders, using your block, using a guy who's blocking a guy as a blocker, a guy engaged in a block as a blocker to pick somebody else off. That was great job.
So he's down here at the bottom of the screen, and he's not going to get the ball here. But you're a running back, Shawn. You're on the boundary. You're running. You're not in the design of this play. You are not in the design of it. This is David Montgomery. You see him looking back at the play, sees his QB escaping, sees all this grass, instantly turns into a blocker.
Well, one or two. Well, yeah. Once he realizes that, because honestly, on that one, if I'm Khalil Herbert, if I'm Demo, I'm breaking. I'm going deep because now that guy's got to make a decision. Is Justin Fields past the line of scrimmage? If he's not past the line of scrimmage, you have to stay with David Montgomery.
This is Andy Dalton. Oh yeah, you mean this year with Justin Fields?
Oh, this is Dalton. Okay, then no wonder he became a blocker.
No
wonder he became a blocker.
Yeah, this is Andy Dalton. But yeah, once he gets to there, he's basically now he's crossing the line of scrimmage, and Demo's just in phase with this guy.
See, again, it's just Justin Fields will do. Justin Fields will stop about the 46.
Yeah, you just press to there and wait.
And drift to the right, drift directly to the sideline.
Yeah.
And that's what and Demo just keeps going. And that guy who's covering Demo is screwed. What do you do? Because if you go with Demo, then you give the whole sideline to Justin Fields. If you go to Justin Fields, then you're hoping that number 30, who's on the numbers, can get to the sideline in a heartbeat because Justin Fields is going to throw like a humpback line drive over that corner in front before that safety. And now you got to catch Demo in full stride. I don't know if that can be done.
So this is a thing as well, Shawn. People have been talking about in practice that we've been running on 7-on-7. So there's no linemen, there's no down linemen, and there's only skeleton linebackers in coverage. And they've been complaining because when Justin Fields gets a certain count in his head, if no one is open, he's basically doing an escape drill. So he's running out towards the sideline, and then everyone is turning into, you know what I mean? So everyone's turning into an escape drill. That's so important because clearly you watch this play, Shawn. Who's doing the escape drill here? Now you see right now. Yeah, people should be running. Demo's the only one that's aware. He actually turns into a blocker. Everyone else, Cole Kmet, are we trying to separate there? Are we trying to separate here? No one's running an escape drill. So he has no option to pass. There is no option to pass.
And that's, like you said, dude, that's going to be completely different this year.
Oh, yeah.
Completely different because he's got the arm strength, so it doesn't matter. So once you realize he's gone, you got the short guys going deep, the deep guys coming in. You just need separation from your man. And Justin, if he's got nothing, shoot, he'll just use his 4.4 speed, get a first down, get out of bounds, or shoot, take it to the house.
And we've seen him do it. So last two plays, Shawn.
Sure.
Again, this was a awful game.
Oh my God! Yes.
So, unfortunately for everybody else, I'm not putting on the Seattle. Again, the effort on this, Shawn, and this is 3rd and long, by the way. So we're trying to get first down marker, which is across the 2-yard line, going across the field. So Demo catching the ball and basically what is a check down for Justin Fields. Because again, nothing is open. I mean, this is half-assed for me there, because if he's going there, Justin's got a chance to throw it to him. But look at that. But anyway, Justin throws a check down there. Demo catches it. Three with no blockers.
The biggest problem with Allen Robinson is he drifts to the safety. If he keeps at a beeline on the angle he was taken to the, basically he'll want it. Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. The separation is there. Actually, probably maybe a little deeper, maybe toward the back pylon, or maybe once he gets to the end zone to the back pylon, it's so much easier. Yeah, right behind that safety. All right, because the safety doesn't see him. The guy where it says 1946 at the top of the screen, he doesn't see Allen Robinson. He's looking at the guy. It was Jimmy Graham, whoever that is in front of him. That you make a beeline for that. Justin just lofts it, and you run underneath it. That's 6. But he checks down, and this is a phenomenal play.
I mean, that's what, 5 hats on the ball, Shawn?
Yep.
And he almost gets the first down. Again, here we get to see the wonderful pass blocking up front. What Whitehair's doing here, I don't know. What is Whitehair doing? I mean, he sees him coming. He looks back there. He sees him coming. I mean, presumably, he's actually looking at him.
He thinks that the center's going to peel off, which he should, but the center doesn't peel off right away. And Whitehead, what he did, he sees the outside. That defensive end is outside, so you don't got to worry about your left. All right, there's no other threats, so you look inside. And you just come across like a forklift or just like a big snow plow, and you just shove everything that way. Give Justin some time.
And then Demo catches the ball there, Shawn, and this is not a great position to be in. I mean,
1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody's coming at him, and then you got the trailers.
And it just makes him stupid. 21.
That hard leg plant is huge. It's so because it's so effective. It's so effective. And then he cuts back again.
He sees Demo and he sets that block up by pressing inside, knowing the pursuit's going to come across the front and Demo's going to block him. Sorry, Mooney's going to block him, and he bounces outside. This is just again close area, but again Mooney getting his block. On a linebacker, by the way. That's Darnell Mooney on a linebacker. And then all of this is just Demo. It's just, there are very few backs, Shawn, I think, that can do that.
No, those very few backs that want to do that. That's you know what I mean? I think they can, but there's a big disconnect with this generation. This guy's a throwback. This guy's a throwback, and I love the fact that he's just a tough kid. He's fights for every yard. I really, really big fan of his.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, and it's his leadership as well for me, Shawn. The reason when we're asking the question on that poll, do you look at extending him now? Well, for me, if David Montgomery says to me, I'll take, let's say, $8 million guaranteed a year, rising to 10 to 12 with bonuses, and I'll take that for a 4-year deal. If he came to you and said, I'll take $8 million guaranteed for over the 4 years each, so $32 million guaranteed, possible up to 50 with bonuses, would you consider extending him early at that kind of money? Or are you going to wait because you've got Trestan Ebner and you've got Khalil Herbert?
Yeah, as much as me personally as a GM, I'd wait. As a fan, I'd sign him in a heartbeat. But as a GM, if Trestan Ebner and Khalil Herbert can pick up the slack and both of them can be as productive as David Montgomery, then, yeah, you don't have to offer them. And that's one of the things I'm really worried about is that those guys really get off and they're like, okay, well, we don't need you per as much as you think. Running backs are a dime a dozen. And I played running back my whole career, so I get it, and it sucks. But if you got two guys, you got running back by committee, and they both can pass block, that's going to be tough for Demo to get that type of money.
So if we're bulking, let's again, I want to try and give context to Bears fans in terms of where money is valued. So if we're balking at Demo and his level of production at, let's say, 8 to 10 million because we can replace running backs, will linebackers in a 4-3 front are quite common in college, particularly now, because that sort of run and hit is the mold of linebackers now in college. There's more and more of them coming out every year. Are you willing to pay 20 million plus a year to a will linebacker? And this is just one of the best runs I've seen from last year from David Montgomery.
Well,
we talk about desire.
The thing about it is that people talk about, well, he's a will, he's a this, he's a that. It's not about that. Is he the best? Is he the best guy in the defense? He is. He's the best guy in the defense. I don't think there's anybody else. I mean, Robert Quinn had one good year. Roquan Smith has had 4. Robert Quinn had one good year with us, and Roquan Smith has had 4. So to pay someone who's the best, he's in elite company into what he's done. And if you're putting him in a spot where it's featured, guess what? He's probably going to make as much noise and destruction as he has before, because now it's set up for him to do that. See, everyone forgets about how awesome Lance Briggs was because Brian Urlacher was a freak. All right. If we didn't have a freak for a middle linebacker in Brian Urlacher, Briggs would have got a lot more love because Briggs made a lot of tackles. He just wasn't Urlacher. And would I give him $20 million? You know what? I'd start negotiations at 17 mil, 15 to 17 mil. All right, with bonuses. All right. And go up, because you just can't lose. If you think that your scheme is good enough, I'll tell you what. That's why they wanted that. They wanted that D tackle, that 3 technique. Ogunjobi, because if you can guarantee that Will's going to eat regardless, then you don't have to pay Roquan that money, because you'll go find somebody this year or next year when we have a first round pick. You could find someone who's going to eat. That's how that hurt. That domino effect that hurt the Bears, because now you're like, well, hey, we can put Morrow there. We can put Jack Sanborn there, the kid from Walkout, or the UDFA from Wisconsin. We can put anybody there, and they're going to eat. But now that you don't have that dude, and if Roquan goes there and still eats, I'd offer him 17 mil, 17 plus incentives that should get you to 18 to 20 mil with and easy incentives. You know what I'm saying? I need you to get 100 tackles. You get $500,000. I need you to get an interception, 1 or 2 interceptions. I need you to get 5 forced fumbles. You get another $500,000. Give him easy
10 tackles for loss.
Yeah, 10 tackles for loss. You get another $500,000. Come on, man. These are things that he's going to do. He'll have 10 tackles for loss maybe in the first 5 or 6 games. You know what I mean? This is what Ryan Poles needs to do. All right, structure it that way. And I know you want the guaranteed money, but if it's not guaranteed, make it pretty damn near easy. You walk on the field without stumbling, you get another $250,000. You know what I mean? Just dumb shit like that allows him to get his money, and it also saves face for Ryan Poles. Like, I'm not giving in, I'm giving incentives so he can start so he can make all that money.
Yeah, achievable bonuses.
Yeah.
So it's a way you have to. There's no point having them if they're not achievable. It's literally pointless having them in the contract.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen? I mean, obviously this is David Montgomery. If we took this freeze frame and people who hadn't seen the game, and you put up a poll saying, "Is David Montgomery going to score?"
The absolute answer is no. There's no way he can score. 34 is in front. There's a guy, number 10, Darnell, who is it? Bird. His guys is inside of him. You got 24 behind him. You got the safety, 21 and 31 coming to clean everything up. You got 25. There's no way this guy scores. If you took this freeze frame and you asked people, is he score? No way.
Have you ever seen a sub 200-pound wide receiver that does this sort of thing here, Shawn? So obviously this is Demo. This is all Demo getting in the end zone. But watch this by Darnell Mooney. So at the moment he's not even on. Cole Kmet there with a good block, by the way. I'm 34, Anzalone. Cole Kmet, that's a really good block there to get him out of the way. But Demo's in contact with 1, 2, 3, 4. James Daniels gets on that last guy, 44. Then watch Darnell Mooney get on the back of David Montgomery there. He's literally on David Montgomery's back hip, pushing him. That's Darnell Mooney right there. That's David Montgomery right there. And they get in. You ever seen a sub 200-pound wide receiver do that sort of thing, Shawn?
Amazing, dude. That's a guy who wants to play. That's a guy who wants to play.
So are you extending Darnell Mooney the first chance that you get?
Yeah. I don't agree with a lot of people. I don't think he's the number one. I think he's a phenomenal number two. I think he get really good number two money. I just don't. He's not a guy that you game plan around. He's not a guy that when you go in, you say, I got to stop him. Now, you're going to have to stop him because we have no other receivers that have the chemistry with Justin Fields like he does. But, EQ St. Brown is very familiar with the scheme. He ran it for the last few years. N'Keal Harry, when he comes back in week 5 or 4, whatever he is. Pringle, who it was extremely exciting in college. He's just a fourth option in Kansas City. All these guys are going to take stuff away from Darnell Mooney. I think he might still get 1,000. And if not, I could see 500, 500, 600, 800, like from the receivers. I can see that.
I think 1,400 and 7 to 10 touchdowns is not an unreasonable expectation. If this offense functions in any sort of way as a running offense, I think if it functions as a running offense, it will function as a play-action offense. I think Darnell Mooney's ability to get in and out of his legs, he's not just fast in a straight line, Shawn. He's very sudden in terms of his acceleration and deceleration, which for a wide receiver against zone or man is critical to be able to get open. Those are Darnell Mooney's traits. His strength as a blocker, he's going to benefit this offense anyway. But when you look at the money that Christian Kirk got this offseason,
it's ridiculous.
And you think about Darnell Mooney is going to want 28 a year, 25 a year, 28. It's going to be around those kind of figures. It's going to be big money that he goes for, I think, personally, in terms of his contract renewal. Based upon what you've seen from him so far, I mean, if he does get round about those sorts of numbers, let's say 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns this year, are you going to sort of say, right, priority number one is extend Darnell Mooney?
If he gets 1,407, yeah. I know he's not getting 1,400. I would be extremely shocked if he got 1,400 yards and 7 tutties. Tutties, maybe. But the 1,400, there's going to be so many different options because I think we got a whole bunch of number twos. And I think initially because people are going to he is our quote-unquote number one, the most prolific fullback in the league. It's not even close. He's up there. He's up there.
His blocking ability for a wide receiver is rare. Yeah, I genuinely think on open market, Darnell Mooney would be one of the top, if not the top receiver. I know for a fact that next year's free agency is dire for wide receiver. There's literally nothing that we don't already have on the roster right now that you would even think about signing in free agency next year. But yeah, for me, I think he is a legit number one. The thing is, Shawn, is his willingness to improve. He's constantly getting better. He's a better blocker. He's a better leader. He knows his routes more. He knows the offense more. He works all the time with Justin Fields. That is going to transpose to success, I think, on the field. I have confidence in his ability to be a number one. At the end of the day, he was a number one in effect on the Bears, certainly last year anyway. You're right, I think, in terms of does he dictate coverage? No, but then I don't think anyone respected the Bears passing game last year at all. I don't think anyone was scared of the Bears passing game. So I don't think we saw coverage being dictated. But I think once you start seeing the run game going, I think you will see safeties roll towards his side. Because him or Equanimous St. Brown or Byron Pringle or Velus Jones Jr. unknown quantities. Darnell Mooney is the known quantity in that offense. So I think you will see wild coverages. Now, that's the question that you've asked there, which I think is the key one for me. Does he produce in that situation? I think it's going to be interesting to watch, but I personally think he's I think he is potentially a number one receiver. I think he's definitely a top tier receiver right now in the NFL. I think any team would like to have Darnell Mooney on their roster. He might not be their number one. Yeah, he might not be their number one, but I think any team would like to have him on the roster.
Oh yeah, I would agree. But for me, I guess so. You and I are on opposite sides of the pond. We're literally and figuratively. Yeah, I just don't. You're not going to game plan around him. You're going to have to, because he's the only known commodity that we have. And can he perform there? What's going to happen? What if EQ goes off? And then what if Velus Jones goes off? What if Trestan Ebner gets a few touchdowns? What if Cole Kmet gets a few touchdowns? What if N'Keal Harry, when he comes back in week 4 or 5, does what I hope he does? He's done in college: jump ball and go gets it in the red zone. There's a lot of other options for Justin Fields, and I know he's got chemistry with Justin Fields. But as a quarterback, your favorite receiver is the open one, and it does. Tom Brady never had a true number one. The year he did, they didn't even win the Super Bowl. Okay, with Randy Moss. So, it's a system. You're not game planning around this guy. If you still game plan around Darnell Mooney in week 6, 7, or 8, then everybody else has failed, because everybody else is talented. They didn't have a shot. I think he is an all-pro number 2 receiver. I think he's in the stratosphere of an Alshon Jeffrey, who was a phenomenal all-pro number 2 receiver when B. Marsh was here. And then when Brandon Marshall left and Alshon was a man, all of a sudden things happened. I know he had injured as well, but that being covered, being double covered, being game planned around, wasn't able to produce like he was before. Now with Darnell Mooney being game planned around, because he's the incumbent receiver that we have, can he produce? I don't know. I don't think he will. I hope he does, but I don't think he will.
So what would be the sort of the figure that you would be happy in terms of looking at keeping, let's say number 2 wide receiver money, if you're going to pay number 2 wide receiver, but the only way you can pay him to keep him as a bear, as a wide receiver number 2, is if you have a wide receiver number 1. No agent is going to tell him to sign wide receiver number 2 money when you're the number 1 on the team.
Right.
And that's going to be the problem for the Bears re-signing him, I think. Absolutely, the Flus culture, absolutely. Darnell Mooney is the embodiment of an effort guy, as well as a talent guy, as well as a hustle guy, and all the rest of it, and the intelligence. He's absolutely a Flus guy. So I think Flus will see him as a priority. It's just a case of
team as a priority.
What kind of money are you looking at there for him? So,
man,
you're the GM, Shawn. What kind of money? In today's market, a wide receiver. In today's market,
again, let me preface by saying I got to see what I'm doing, what I'm getting from EQ, what I'm getting from Pringle, what I'm getting from Ebner and Jones. You're good because you got them on rookie deals. I got to see what their production is, because if they're giving me production, but on the open market, I think Darnell Mooney can get, I don't know about 20. I'm thinking maybe 15 to 17. He might be able to get. I still
think Christian Kirk getting 22.
I still don't feel he's a guy that you game plan around. He doesn't. You put Darnell Mooney on any team, he's not a number 1. Any other team beside the Bears, he's not a number 1. There's no place he goes. There's certain receivers you take and you put him on any other team or most other teams, they're a number 1. If not, they're a 1A. Right? He's not. He doesn't fit that for me. He does a lot of things well. He does fundamentally sound. He's great for that culture, but he's not a guy that I go into saying, "Man, we got to stop Darnell Mooney." So
I'm going to put something up on screen, Shawn. I'm going to go back down to. I'm going to just bring this up on screen. I'm just going to add it in as a layer. I'm doing a bit of live production, Shawn. So I'm adding in a layer. I'm adding in a screen share, and I'm going to add to the scene, and we're going to put this in the background. I'm just doing it now. So then what I can do is move that there. So looking at these contracts, Shawn, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit.
I was going to say, yeah, do that for me.
Yeah. So there we go. In terms of the money, and this is including guys that have just been re-signed, by the way. So obviously, we're not looking at Tyreek, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Cooper Kupp, even A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, I think that's where you draw the line in terms of money. Now, this is the per year figure here in this 24, 25 million. So DK Metcalf, 24 million. Deebo Samuel, 23.8 million. Terry McLaurin, who Darnell Mooney outperformed last year, 23.2. DJ Moore, 20.6. Keenan Allen, who signed years ago, 20.25. Mike Williams, who re-signed ages ago, 20 million. These are 28-year-old, 29-year-old, 26-year-old. Chris Godwin, 20 million a year. So looking at those names, Deontay Johnson, 18.3 million. Mike Williams, 20 million. Chris Godwin, 20 million. DJ Moore, 20.6. Terry McLaurin, 23, who signed more recently. Deebo signed more recently, 24. DK Metcalf, 24. What are you thinking money-wise?
Well, I think wide receivers, first of all, are overpaid. I think you may have to. I'm still offering him if I'm good. If I ask him, if I'm making the call, we're starting around 17, 18 mil. If we got to work it up to 20, okay, we'll work it up to 20. But I'm starting 17 mil. Say, hey, I got offensive lineman I got to pay. I need another pass rusher. I don't know when what's his face is coming in. And I know you have, are you going in for a big free agent this year, or next season? You know what I'm saying? If you do that.
There's nothing next year at wide receiver. Nothing really, anyway. Nothing much.
Yeah, I don't see him changing the game like those guys that we mentioned.
Would you do that?
Do what? Which?
5 years, 100 mil.
No. I'd go 575 or 5 or 80.
So 5 for 80. So what's sort of 17, 18 million a year as well. Yep. Okay. Well, thank you for jumping on with me.
The only thing I would do is say, hey, listen, you can get more guaranteed up front. If I, you know what I mean? Like I'll give you 5 for 80 with 60, 55, 60 guaranteed. This way you're, and then we cut you at the end last couple of years if it's not working out. But yeah, that's the only thing I do. I'd give him a little more guaranteed money, but not that. I'm not reaching into the 90s and hundreds for him unless it's 6 or 7 years.
So recapping the episode then. So what's your thoughts now? We've looked at the All-22 for Trestan Ebner, Khalil Herbert, and David Montgomery. What's your feeling about the room?
I'm excited. I was excited when they drafted him. When they drafted Ebner. I know we didn't even look at Darrynton Evans, but I think he'll be a practice squad player. I think those are the guys that are going to really do a number on this for this Bears team. You got 3 different guys, 3 different styles, 3 different types of running backs, and I love all 3 of them. All 3 of them can run behind the scheme, which is why it's important that we get guys. And we don't even have to be great offensive linemen. We don't need first rounders. We need guys who are fundamentally sound and just get the job done. Okay, I don't need pancakes. I don't need guys.
And he's been doing well in practice over here. I mean, obviously, I'm not fortunate to be at the Bears practices, but he's been doing well. So that's it. It is dark at night now in England. So that's right. It absolutely is. So Shawn, what do you have coming up this week on your show? Obviously, I've got it at the bottom of the screen, scrolling across. Follow Shawn Sierra at the Shawn Sierra and at Sportzone Shy for the Sportzone Chicago. So what do you have this week, Shawn? Well, yours is the only one that I watch, if that's any help for you. So there you go. So thanks very much, Shawn. I really appreciate you jumping on with me. I think it's been, I've really enjoyed it. I think it's been entertaining, and I'm not sure what the comments are going to say on YouTube, etc. But thank you very much for joining me. I've really enjoyed going through the All-22 with you. It's obviously very good to get an actual backs perspective on what they're seeing and what what the skills are transferable and all the rest of it. So I appreciate that. I'm gonna leave everyone just by saying this bit at the bottom here. Be kind to each other. Bear down. Bellissimo. That's us out. Thanks.